Hi, this is Kerry Artak with Wicked Stocks, bringing you the daily Apple report for Tuesday, September 5th, 2023. Before we jump into all the charts, I just want to encourage you to please click like if you haven't already and subscribe to the Wicked Stocks YouTube channel. Also, share the content, if you would, with friends and colleagues. And check out wickedstocks.com, where we offer a full suite of both daily and weekly analytical videos. Daily analysis in the SPY and the Triple Q, weekly analysis in the S&P 500, the NASDAQ 100, the long bond ETF, the TLT, as well as two individual stock picks a week that you never see on YouTube that cater to the 3 to 5 week swing trader out to the 3 to 5 month near term investor. We're always looking for 20% moves on those underlying stock picks. Last week was Netflix and Micron. We'll have two other stock picks this week, so forth and so on. You can check all of this out by signing up for wickedstocks.com. We offer a 5-day free trial up front. So if you don't like what you see, including the weekly stock picks, you can bow out within 5 days at no cost to you whatsoever. So on with the chart. Start with the big picture, work our way into the day itself. This is a weekly chart showing you that several months ago, I think it was early May, we settled above this meaningful long-term channel top, a descending flag at the top of an all-time high that indicated not only new all-time highs, which did occur about a month and a half later, but really on to the next line study structure that I see as a likely objective at 226.21 over the months ahead. At one point, I was anticipating that within by the end of the year. No longer. I think it's more like Q1, Q2 of 24, and I'll get to that in a moment. But the reason why I went off the by the end of the year objective at 226.21 was that about a month ago or so, early August, we closed below this a 10-month channel bottom. Not 10 months, sorry, more like 8 or 9 month channel bottom that did follow through almost to 168.50, fell short. No surprise there because of the longer term bullish dynamic. Back to the channel bottom that we then settled back above last Wednesday. Not only did we settle back above this former channel bottom, but the very same day we settled above a trend-defining descending two-thirds speed line that defined the near-term trend. That is the high off that July high. I call this kind of the 2 to 3, 3 to 5 week dynamic above the speed line at 185.08 and the channel bottom at 185.50. I don't expect to see this area today, but if we were to test it today, it does represent a solid buy opportunity not only for the day, not only for the week, but really through September, because holding above 185.08 to 185.50 does maintain, I'm going to call it a 1 to 2 month target. It could be by the end of September, depending on volatility and the directional dynamic. If it's sustained and aggressive, the 208.32 objective may be realized by the end of September, but I tend to think probably more like by the end of October, over the next 2 months. There will definitely be tests on the way up. The first test is one that I should mention for today itself, this former channel bottom at 190.92 that can contain daily buying pressures and below which we can fall back, not necessarily today, but over the next few days into the 185 handle support. If we close above 190.92, 194.48 likely within a day or two, and I can point to, I'm looking for the targeted area. Of course, we have the 198.23 all-time high from July. That's already now a 2 to 3 week target, 198.23. So if you're an options trader, for instance, the settlement last Wednesday above the speed line presented an opportunity, for instance, to buy 198 out of the money calls that don't expire for at least a month, and the 210 out of the money calls still in play over at least the next 2 months. And I like to double my time horizon. So while I think this is a 2 to 3 week reality, I would buy an out of the money call that doesn't expire for at least 5 or 6 weeks. And while I call this a kind of a 2-month reality at 208.32, I would buy 210 out of the money calls that don't expire for at least 4 months. I like to go further out in time to eliminate the time decay element from option acquisitions. And you probably know all about that. So this is a good image right here. A bullish for the week and through September above 185.08, anticipating 190.92 over the next day or two, possibly today, where we can place a daily high. And, if we were to, I do know that there is, here we are, this is probably a better image, 192.65 is an intraday resistance area. Yeah, there's a few things to show here. So I'm going to go back to this chart here and show 190.92. This is our framework framework for the day. 190.92 resistance, able to contain daily buying pressures. Good, solid day trade level. Even if you're not positioned, playing the short side at 190.92, I don't have a problem with it if you're just an aggressive day trader, because within a day or two at the most, we can fall back into the 185 handle. Once again, if we close above 190.92, we should just continue higher. I think then by the end of next week, we should actually retest the 198.23 all-time high from July. But 190.92 on the way down today, there is this former channel top at 187.73, and that is solid intraday support. We may even bottom out here for the day itself. 187.73 likely to contain intraday weakness, and if we break or open today below 187.73, we may well fall into that 185.08 to 185.50 region, which is once again more properly shown here, where once again we can bottom out for the day, for the week, for the month, and even into later year, because above which, still anticipating the 208.32 rising channel top and rising daily over the next couple of months. And so however you want to structure yourself, whether you're buying dips at 185.05, market might not provide that for you. Whether you buy a settlement today above 190.92, that's your next opportunity, I really think, for bullish continuation as we move into later week. But holding above that 185.08 to 185.50 area, just keep in mind we're looking for the low 200s, new all-time highs by the end of October or sooner. Now for the downside, once again, 187.73, our intraday support. We can bottom out here intraday. You could trade the 187.73 floor of support, 190.92 ceiling of resistance throughout the day. I'm going to say that if we close below 187.73, we should test 185.08 tomorrow. If we don't test it today with an intraday violation below 187.73, the 185.08 to 185.50 area able to contain selling through September. And if we were to close below 185.08, this certainly threatens this market to fall back into the upper 160s within 3 to 5 weeks. So our 2 to 3 week time frame remains bullish into later September above 185.50, and it turns bearish today if we close today below 185.08. So if you're long the 198 or 210 out of the money calls right now in anticipation of those price points over the next 1 to 2 months, if we close below 185.08, my suggestion would be to cover those out-of-the-money calls for a small loss, and in turn perhaps consider buying 169, 168 out-of-the-money puts that don't expire for at least a month. You might go a month and a half out on that just to preserve delta and eliminate the theta time decay element. Closing below 185.08, this market looks bearish through the rest of the week and into later September. On an intraday basis itself, if we break 185.08, 183.39 in reach, I have this as a session containment level. We're not going to see this level today, I'm quite sure. But if we were, it can contain the balance of the day's selling pressures. But keep in mind, as I've said a few times already, that if we close today below 185.08, no good reason to be long Apple. As we move into later September, I do think that the upper 160s are in play again, where we can bottom out through the rest of the year, and above which this long-term channel top at 226.21 is calling and should be realized over the next, I'm going to say, 5 to 8 months. I will say that it narrows to within a month or two if over the next month or two we happen to close above this targeted 208.32 channel top. I'm going to leave it at that. There's really not much else to say for Tuesday's Apple report. I'll be back, of course, tomorrow with Wednesdays. Please click like, share, subscribe, and check out wickedstocks.com. You have a great day.